Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. I hope you guys are doing well. Perhaps let's give it a few seconds as we wait for some members to join. But there's plenty that we are going to be looking at. Although we will labor to keep it short, possibly not longer than 20 minutes. That's for today's live broadcast. But among the topics is the FA Cup. Then we do have Andrea Berta being announced, Bruno Fernandes, we spoke about that. Real Madrid are interested in signing him. And then, of course, we do have the UEFA Champions League fixture coming up between Arsenal and Madrid. I'll be telling you why that game is important or why you should be looking out for it to reach. Then the Premier League does return to action midway this week. Of course, that is also there to come. Anyways, let's get it all started with that the FA Cup. Now, yesterday we did witness the conclusion of the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. That's the oldest competition in English football, as Manchester City knocked out Bournemouth by 2-1. Brought Erling Haaland missing a penalty in that one before going on to score to give, I think, Man City the lead. And then, of course, Evan Nilsson restored parity, but then Omar Mamouche made the difference when he scored that goal that eventually turned out to be the match winner for Pep Guardiola to send the citizens into the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Now, of course, it was very interesting sights there, seeing how Pep Guardiola celebrated as the traveling Manchester City fans sang his name in the stands there. Very, very beautiful scenes. But won't hold you much there. We'll move away to and go to Preston North End, where Aston Villa beat them by 3-0 to also advance to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. The goal scorers in that one, Marcus Rashford with the burst in that particular game, as well as Jacob Ramsey on target there for Unai Emery's side as they knocked out Preston North End. Pretty much a result that we did expect. Maybe it is in the earlier in the other game of Man City and Bournemouth, where we had expected an upset, given that Bournemouth has been one of those teams that have beaten up against Manchester City this season already before. But it is what it is. And then moving away from that, where do we start? Let's start with Bruno Fernandes. Of course, we did yesterday. I did a video. It's up on the channel. You can go check it out. We spoke on matters Bruno Fernandes because Real Madrid are interested in his services. According to the Daily Star, the Whites are willing to pay as much as £90 million. Now, just for to throw in a dice in there, the winner for the upcoming FIFA Club World Cup will pocket possibly £97 million. So if Real Madrid are willing to invest, £90 million in signing Bruno Fernandes for Manchester United as a replacement for Luka Modric, as we discussed extensively in that video, go check it out on the channel. I did publish it yesterday. Then maybe they have every reason to go and fight for that FIFA Club World Cup and get the resources, perhaps to pay Manchester United for their Portuguese, for their Portuguese captain in order to land his services. So that deal is being speculated as we head into the summer. Of course, there's still many games still left to the season, but because the competitions are just around the corner, Real Madrid are already making their plans. We all know they've already moved, ahead in trying to sign Alexander Trent-Arnold as a free agent from Liverpool. His contract does end at this summer or in June, so Real Madrid are trying to get him signed on, and then after that they could turn their attention to Manchester United captain in Bruno Fernandes. But details on that are already on the channel. Go check out that video. Then the other thing that I wanted us to talk about is Arsenal did formally announce Andrea Berta as their new sporting director. Of course, we already knew this, that the deal had already been signed, but formally they had not yet come to announce, but they did announce over the weekend that that's a done deal. So the Italian yes, the Italian international does kickstart work at Arsenal. And yesterday, according to David Ornstein of The Athletic, he did come out to spill some beans, saying that Arsenal's new sporting director, Andrea Berta, is a huge fan of Viktor Gyokeres. And because of that, Arsenal are starting to look in the direction of Viktor Gyokeres in their search for a centre forward. Remember, high on Arsenal's list is Alexander Isak of Newcastle, but that deal could prove a little too expensive for suitors, if not a little too hard to accomplish, because reports or speculation has it that Newcastle would demand no less than £100 million. In fact, the figures being quoted are anywhere between 120 to 150 million pounds for the 25-year-old Swedish international there. Now, in comparison, you have a Viktor Gyokeres there, a 26-year-old, I think, who has been much on Oh, please let me know if you can hear me now. Uh, do let me know if you can hear me. Hello. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Adam, for letting me know. Now, I do not know where you last had me, but I'll repeat some of these things. Okay. We're discussing Alexander Isak, saying Alexander Isak is top of Arsenal's list for summer transfer targets as far as strikers are concerned. Now, in the wake of the announcement of their new sporting director in Andrea Berta, it is reported that Viktor Gyokeres has come high on that list because Andrea Berta does appreciate the striker who spent, who's had two brilliant seasons with Sporting, including this season and last season. So that the challenge with Alexander Isak is that the deal may prove to be either too expensive or too difficult to do, because while he is number one on Arsenal's transfer list, Newcastle are desperate to keep a hold of him because he is very integral in their projects with the new ownership. And we all know about that. He's still under contract with the Magpies until 2028. However, if Newcastle fail to qualify for the UEFA Champions League, which is the premier competition for European football, where he does want to play like any other big player, then he could sort of maybe not force Newcastle's hand, but he could sort of signal that he does want to make a move, you know, away from the club. So we'll wait to see how that spans out. Adam is asking, can you teach me football? I do not know to what extent, but we can have a chat. You can always reach out or via email, and my email is listed on the channel. But like I was saying, so it made a deal a little too difficult. But if Newcastle fail to qualify for the UEFA Champions League, he may sort of force their hand into letting him go. Not by handing in a transfer request or something, but clearly he may make earlier on this season there was speculation that he did have a gentleman's agreement with Newcastle that should they fail to qualify for the UEFA Champions League, then the club should be willing to let him go for about 100 million euros. Now, I cannot guarantee that that's a fact for either as part of contract or gentleman's agreement, but that was the speculation. I think that report was made by a journalist called Chris Weekly. Yes, one of those journalists that do follow Arsenal so much. So anyways, so Alexander Isak is there. So I was saying in the hierarchy it's Alexander Isak, and it does seem in respect to yesterday's news that David Ornstein did reveal that Viktor Gyokeres is very much appreciated by Andrea Berta, that he's come now second. Now, of course, his talent cannot be questioned, but like we said, Arsenal also do hold interest in Benjamin Sesko. Now, Benjamin Sesko is a player that Arsenal have monitored for quite a bit of good time. They did want to sign him last summer, but the player decided to stay with RB Leipzig, so a deal was not made. Adam is saying, who is your favorite footballer? He's asking. Yeah, I'll let you know that one in a bit. But so that's the situation there. Arsenal very much interested in getting a striker. I think that will be their priority in the summer. There've been a recent speculation on Martin Zubimendi, with whom they did agree personal terms back in January. Now, the speculation was that Real Madrid are willing to pay the 60 million euros that Arsenal did promise to Athletic Bilbao to land the Spaniard midfielder. Now, again, according to the very recent reports from Spain, they do suggest that that deal is as good as done, and Zubimendi is only waiting for the summer to join the Gunners. But I mean, we can never say never, because anything can happen in the transfer window. We all remember Arnold Danjuma doing the medical at Spurs and ending up at Everton. You've had those things about Willian before he joined Chelsea. He did the medical at Tottenham Spurs and ended up at Chelsea. We all thought that John Obi Mikel was destined for move to Manchester United. He ended up at Chelsea. Joan Manuel Mata was very much almost destined for move to Arsenal. He ended up at Chelsea. So until you see a player holding that chart, after putting pen to paper, you can never say never, because situations can change on the go. So, anyways, moving forward, away from the matters of Bruno Fernandes, the matters of Alexander Isak. For those of you that do not, in case I wasn't audible at the time, Bruno Fernandes is a wanted man according to reports. That's according to the Daily Star, saying that Real Madrid are willing to pay 90 million pounds for the Manchester United their Bruno Fernandes, who in 44 appearances this season has managed to score 16 goals and 16 assists. That's a goal involvement of 32 combined. So that's a very, very huge contribution. They are looking at him as a potential replacement for Luka Modric. So there's that. To answer your question, Adam, who is my favorite footballer? If you're asking my favorite footballer of all time, that's no other than Ronaldinho Gaucho de Assis Moreira, the Brazilian who did play for PSG, who did play for Barcelona, who did play for AC Milan, and a host of other clubs. So that's my favorite footballer of all time. Today, what will be coming up on the channel is an episode of us discussing why I think Arsenal have every reason to be scared of facing Real Madrid. That's in the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. Remember, the two sides do meet next week on Tuesday 8th at the Emirates Stadium in the first leg. I do discuss that particular fixture, and I give you my reasons as why I think Arsenal will be scared, excuse me, of facing Real Madrid. And among those reasons, of course, we talk about their pedigree, we talk about Carlo Ancelotti's experience, the players' experience, Madrid's front line, and etc. So do look out for that episode. It does premiere today at 5:30 East African time. So that's when that video will be premiering 5:30 East African time. That will be. You say, hi bro, I need to go. Keep it up. Well, all support on you. Now, no matter what happened, I will like every video. Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you for the words of encouragement there, and thank you for taking the time to tune into this live broadcast. I do not take your support for granted. Much appreciated. So, like I was saying, that video will be premiering at 5:30 East African time. I'll be giving you reasons why Arsenal should be scared of facing Real Madrid. Previously, we did discuss why I think Real Madrid have a reason to fear Arsenal, and I gave you those reasons. Of course, there was a bit of disagreement, but it is what it is. It's a matter of opinion. So clearly, you get to watch that video also, and you give me what your opinions are ahead of that fixture. Then the Premier League action does a return on Tuesday night. Arsenal are in action against Fulham. Manchester United will be up against Nottingham Forest, while sorry about that. Arsenal will be up against Arsenal will be up against Fulham. United will be up against Nottingham Forest, while West Ham will be up against Wolverhampton Wanderers. That's for Tuesday, and then of course the fixtures do continue between Wednesday and Thursday. So I'll be, if I find the time, we will do the preview of some of those fixtures, possibly in a pre-recorded show today, or if not possible, we'll do a live broadcast tomorrow morning and discuss some of those fixtures in detail, or even later today. We can choose a fixture and look at it. Possibly that of Arsenal, perhaps later today in the evening, we can look at it. So clearly, we will see how all that spans out. But Andrea Berta starts his work at Arsenal. Manchester United very active in the transfer market. So many speculation is being made. They do want, they're interested in Xavi Simons, Jeremy Frimpong, who is also attracting interest from Chelsea and Liverpool. That's the right back from Bayer Leverkusen. We did discuss a bit of that in yesterday's video about Bruno Fernandes and all that. The FA Cup semi-finals fixture is out. Nottingham Forest will be up against Man City, while Crystal Palace will be up against Aston Villa. Remember, Crystal Palace to reach at this stage did knock out Fulham, beating them by 2-0. Goals scored by Eberechi Eze, Ismail Sarr, and Eddie Nketiah in that one. And then Nottingham Forest knocked out Brighton and Hove Albion by 4-3 on post-match penalties. That was on Saturday. So that's what's up. That's what will be coming your way. My surprise was that I still do not understand why we do not have Premier League fixtures this weekend in priority of the FA Cup, because you had fixtures like the Merseyside derby that did involve Liverpool and Everton, which could have easily been played this weekend because both teams were not engaged in the FA Cup. So I mean, they could have easily made time for it. Chelsea have their upcoming fixture there, I think, against Tottenham Hotspur on Thursday. None of those two teams was engaged in the FA Cup action, but it is what it is. They made their decision, but apologies for that moment where you couldn't hear me when my microphone had gone off. Sorry, sometimes these things happen. They're very unfortunate, but that's technology for you. So sometimes they do happen, but we'll keep doing better next time. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for the rest of you that did tune into today's live podcast. Like I said, the goal was to endeavor to keep it simple below 20 minutes, and it's 20 minutes on the clock. So allow me let you go do your work and wish you a wonderful rest of the day. But like I said, we have a video that will be dropping at 5:30. That's East African time. We'll engage later. Do catch me on my socials at Robert Kesakos. That's on Facebook, Instagram, X, Football Tribe, on TikTok. And stay blessed. See you next time.